Hello, I'm Ron Whitlock. Welcome to the program. Coming to you from the Salvation Army at Algon County Headquarters at Pecan/FM 495 and North 23rd in the city of McAllen. And our guest on the program, Captain Dan Ford, who, with his wife Alba Ford, serves in the capacity of chief cook, bottle washer, head fundraiser, feed the poor, work disasters in Mexico, or here in the valley, even when the next hurricane comes, you name it, Salvation Army is ready to do it.
Our official title is Corps Officers, but we're pretty much the administrators of Salvation Army Services in Hidalgo County.
Now, the first thing we want to talk about is the fact that the Salvation Army here in the Rio Grande Valley, particularly in Hidalgo County, has been so involved in the Tabasco storm down in Tabasco, Mexico, that occurred recently. Tell us exactly what's involved. We want to show the audience the van that FedEx has contributed, right, and those kinds of things, and how severe was the storm in Tabasco, Mexico.
My wife was called to service there in Mexico. My wife is Costa Rican, and she was flown down there on November 10th. She's been serving on the disaster canteens that we sent. We sent canteens from Harlingen and Laredo down there. These are mobile feeding units that you can actually cook and feed anywhere in the community. You can drive with the food on it and serve it wherever the need is. And so they've come in very handy down there. They have about 5 in that community of Tabasco right now that are serving, and we're sending 2 more. FedEx just donated a beautiful new canteen.
That vehicle is going to Tabasco?
Yeah, FedEx actually bought that for the Salvation Army in Mexico to serve down in Tabasco.
It's a brand new vehicle?
That's a brand new vehicle. It was built and made by FedEx for the Mexico Command.
And the audience can see that now on their screen.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful brand new van that's been decked out by FedEx Corporate.
Right. The one from New York actually came when we were in Hurricane Rita service, and it was donated for use down there. Instead of driving it all the way back to New York, they went ahead and donated it to Mexico for use in Mexico, and we have it for that disaster now.
Now, a canteen from Harlingen and from Laredo also has gone down.
Has already gone down.
Will they be coming back, these canteens?
No,
and
they
these
will
vehicles?
not be coming back. They will, we're actually donating those to the disaster there, the command in Mexico, so that they'll be able to use it for other disasters. And we're going to be purchasing 2 new canteens for those communities. We have a canteen here in McAllen that we'll be using in all 3. If we have a disaster in either one of those areas, we'll be able to call units not only from here, but San Antonio. We have 2 units there that we can call to come into those communities while we're waiting for the other canteens to arrive.
Now, this being holiday season, you always think about bell ringers, and you see the individual ringing, maybe in a Santa Claus suit, ringing the bell, asking for donations. We're going to get into that, talking about that a little bit later in the program, Captain. Don't fret now. We're going to be talking about the bell ringing, which is a very important an element of your fundraising activities historically. But how serious was the Tabasco problem?
Oh, it's really terrible. They're feeding about 6,000 to 8,000 people a day. There's up to
They've lost their homes.
10,000.
Water's unpotable. It's been contaminated.
10,000 people homeless. They just 2 days ago they just unloaded 5 tractor trailer loads of water that was shipped in. The Southern Baptist men are there trying to help them with the water problem, get their water systems back up and running. There's a lot of volunteer efforts going on down there. The Rotary Club, Salvation Army, Red Cross, Southern Baptist men, a lot of people working in concert to try to meet those needs that are severe. People are still, they have nowhere to go, so they're still living in these homes that have been flooded, and a lot of dead cattle and a lot of chance for disease down there. It's just, my wife says it's just heart-wrenching to see. Many days they run out of food because they don't have enough food to serve down there, and they actually have to turn people away because they're just out of food. And they certainly need a lot more help.
How did the Salvation Army, and I guess the Red Cross, get into the business of serving and feeding soldiers in the time of battle and wars and disasters and that kind of thing. But seemingly in the mind's eye, if you think about a canteen serving someone who's hungry, it seems to be the Salvation Army and the Red Cross.
Yeah.
It's always thought of as being there and providing that service.
Actually,
How did that happen?
our disaster work began in Galveston in 1900 in the Hurricane of Galveston, where there were about 6,000 people that were killed in that hurricane. Of course, there wasn't the sophisticated alert systems that we have today, and the Salvation Army saw an opportunity to really meet people at their lowest point in life, when many cases they've lost everything and all they have is their life left. And we saw it as a real opportunity to minister.
You've lost everything and all you have is your life. You need to eat.
Right.
You need food.
You need everything. I mean, you need everything, but mostly the thing you need most is spiritual help. Help to see that it's not God's fault that all this has happened, but God's there to help you through it. And so the Salvation Army saw a great opportunity for ministry in disaster work. And
at
that's
the same time
and that's why we
providing
and
food and lodging.
yeah, and honestly that's why we get in any ministry. Salvation Army founder William Booth was a Methodist minister who founded the Salvation Army in 1865. His slogan was "Soup, Soap, and Salvation." And his idea with the Salvation Army really originally was that if you meet a person's human needs, then you have the right and opportunity to talk to them about their spiritual needs. If people see the love of God in action, they'll be a lot more willing to receive and accept what you're talking about when you're talking about His love. They see it in action first, and then you're able to minister to the spiritual aspects of a person's life. And that was, and that's really, Jesus's, ministry was, meeting people's physical needs, healing the blind, feeding the 5,000, touching the paralytic man and helping him to rise up and walk. And so, I mean, his whole ministry was touching and changing people's lives. And William Booth just took a page out of Jesus' book and decided to feed the hungry, visit the lonely, touch the lives of the people that really needed it, and hopefully they would see God's love and respond to His love.
Captain Dan Ford, who along with his wife Alba Ford serves as the head people, I guess would be the term.
Corps officers
of the Salvation Army, headquartered in McAllen, serving the entire Hidalgo County area. Now, Captain Ford, are there times in your kitchen, which the audience is now seeing, your kitchen with people preparing food and so forth, are there days when you have a fish and you wish you could turn that fish into thousands of fish to serve thousands like?
Oh, absolutely. During the holidays especially. We feed so many people during the holidays. We do so much for people during the holidays that, but it happens throughout the year. 365 days a year we're serving, 80 to 100 people supper. 60 people lunch. We're providing every day we're providing rent and utility assistance, food baskets for people. The need never stops, but certainly we get a lot of resources during the holiday, but throughout the rest of the year we need resources. That's why the holidays are so important for us. That's why after holidays are so important for us. We need support year round to help us provide the services that people's needs don't stop just because the holidays are over. People have needs every day.
Well, what if you go to the freezer and there is no food?
Well, I mean,
this audience could help.
They can definitely help. I mean, if there's no food, then we either have to buy some or we have to turn people away and say we just don't have it to provide. And we never want to get into a situation where we have to say we can't help someone. And that's where the community gets involved. They help us touch the lives of people. We could do so much more, especially during the summer months when we really are just, barely paying our bills, if we had, more to start with. And so, it's really up to, how much we do is not up to the Salvation Army. How much we do is up to the community and their support.
How much, as it relates to volunteers and the giving, are the Winter Texans who come down during the winter months?
Oh, they're wonderful. We have a program where they help us with the bell ring. And last year, of the $170,000 that we raised, they raised $80,000 of that money winter Texans standing on the in front of the stores, ringing the bell for the Salvation Army. 80,000 of that, over 80,000 came from their efforts with us. We have people that play in our band that are winter Texans. We have people that participated in our Thanksgiving meals that helped us serve. People that help us every day that come down during the winter. But we need volunteers year-round as well. They're wonderful. They're great, but they're gone. After the winter months are over. So we need a lot more volunteers as well.
Now on the screen, the audience is now seeing a sign that says auto sales. You have a sign that says auto sales on the outside of your building, Salvation Army. How's the Salvation Army involved in auto sales?
Well, people ask me what they can donate to the Salvation Army, and I usually say if it's not a live animal or petroleum product, we'll take it. But it really needs to be in pretty decent condition. We don't have
You're
people
looking for automobiles to be contributed, boats
Yeah.
and motors, as
Right.
you said earlier also.
Boats, recreational equipment, four-wheelers, that type of things. There's just about anything we can put to service. We have our thrift store program where we sell furniture items and things to help raise money to put back into our social service programs. It really does help us in that area, but it also provides materials that we can give to people that come into our social services, people that need furniture, that are moving out of our shelter, dishes, all the types of things that people need to live every day. They're being donated to the Salvation Army not just to be sold, but also to be used in our social service program. So the thrift store has a twofold ministry. It ministers to people that are on low income by providing items at a low cost that they might not be able to get new in a store, but it also provides for our social service clients that are in need that don't have the money to buy. If they're eligible for that type of service, we help them from our thrift store with clothing and all types of items that they might need to use in their home.
Now, dealing as you do with hundreds, if not thousands of people in the community at large, realizing who our audience is through the internet and on television, what are the biggest misconceptions that our audience has about the Salvation Army?
Probably that we're a cult. That's one thing. We're a Christian organization. We're a church. My wife and I are the pastors. A lot of people don't understand that about the Salvation Army. They think maybe we're just a social service organization, but we are a church. We have a congregation. On Sunday morning, we have between 150 and 200 people worshiping with us, people that are not just social service clients, but also we have regular church members, people who work like you and I every day that just like to fellowship and serve in the Salvation Army. A lot of the people that are members of our church make the Salvation Army their vocation, working for the Salvation Army, serving the community through the Salvation Army. Many are volunteers. Many are just people that live in the community that like the way the Salvation Army worships. We have lively worship. We have a brass band. We have praise band. We have the timbrels and a lot of things that are unique to the Salvation Army that might appeal to many people in the community. Might invite people to come and enjoy Sunday worship at 11 o'clock.
Captain Dan Ford tells you and I his story happening while he was in the Gulf of Mexico and watching television and saw Jimmy Swaggart.
I got saved watching Jimmy Swaggart on TV.
Did you really?
I did. I prayed the sinner's prayer with Jimmy Swaggart
No kidding.
on a tugboat in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico.
Wow.
I sure did.
Wow.
I got a Bible with his signature in it in my office.
No kidding.
Yep.
Isn't that interesting?
Yep.
And I would bring him.
And then I read the Word and found truth and left some of the things that he was teaching about.
How old were you?
I was 26. I was 26.
Leading a pretty wild life.
Leading a pretty wild. I was a merchant seaman and everything that goes along with it.
Every port and
every
bar.
port and every bar and every woman. That kind of thing. Yeah, pretty
Wow.
much. And I actually came to the Salvation Army in New Orleans. Met the Salvation Army in New Orleans. Well, I met them in other places where I'd run out of money and stayed at a Salvation Army, and finally came to the Salvation Army in New Orleans on Magazine Street in New Orleans to a Harbor Light Center, and God changed my life.
And it
And
all
then
began when Jimmy Swaggart,
it all began on a tugboat in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. And,
while
and the
listening
Holy
on the
Spirit,
radio or watching on television.
watching on TV. Watching on TV. Yep, sure enough, in the galley of a tugboat. And, the Salvation Army, gave me the love and discipline and strength that I needed to overcome a lot of the things that I was dealing with in life. And then I saw, since I had done it, well, maybe I could help somebody else do it, And so that's really been a lot of our ministry is, helping people get out of different types of lifestyles, showing them that God has the power, if they'll accept it, to help them out of those situations, circumstances, and lead a different life, a good life.
And your testimony is more appealing because you've been there.
Well, exactly, and it helps me be a lot more discerning as well because I come from, where many of the people that walk through our door come from, and so not only it provides me a little bit of understanding of what they're going through and empathy, but also, many of them who try to maybe pull the wool over people's eyes, they're not real successful when they come in.
And the main area that you're involved with, you and your wife both, would be drug abuse?
No, actually, we're involved in all aspects of the Salvation Army's ministry. And it's a really neat thing to be able to work together and serve the Lord together in the same place and see each other every day and be able to minister to the people that come through our door for social services, people that need, help with just everyday, human needs, rent, utilities, food, and we're able to talk to them about what got them in that situation and, maybe lead them to the one who can really show them how to live their life so that he can provide for them. We have people that come through our shelter program, and, we have an opportunity to share with them, our extended stay program where we give them an opportunity to get their life together and actually pay the rent when they move out, and help them to successfully complete, the program that we have here. They have an we talk. There's like 6,500 homeless in Hidalgo County, right here, and we only average about 30 or 40 a night here in our shelter. And I think a great deal of that is many people, either don't know that they can come and get their life together or aren't ready to come and get their life together. The things that influence their lives, their addictions or whatever lifestyle, mental illness or whatever that's, that they struggle with, they haven't realized that there's help, for them. We even have, help from from mental health to come in and do screening for us and get people on their medication. And we have medical doctors that come in and minister to the people that come, take TB tests, help them with, small types of physical needs, And we pretty much provide for all their needs when they come. If they'll just come to get the help. And I know it took me a long time to realize that I needed to change my life. And so, we're real patient. We have our feeding program here that we serve lunch and dinner. And the whole reason we serve that, yes, is to help people with, with food, but it's also to get people in where we can talk to them about their situation. We feel if we can get them in and talk to them and get them to learn to trust us and believe in us, then maybe they'll make that decision to come into our, into our services, into our programs and so on, and maybe get the help that they need to change their life.
Coming to you from the Hidalgo County Salvation Army location at Pecan, FM 495, and North 23rd in the city of McAllen. Our guest, Captain Dan Ford, who serves as the head of the Salvation Army in Hidalgo County, along with his wife, Alma Ford. Now, before we went into the break, Captain, you were telling us about all of these various programs that you have available to people, if only they will come. How can they come? How can they interact and get involved other than coming to the location here on 23rd and Pecan and McAllen?
Well, they can call our center and ask about the services that we provide. If they have a need, whether it be an emotional or spiritual or maybe there's a basic human need that they need to take care of, if they're out of food or whatever, they can call the Salvation Army at 956-682-4645. 1468. And we'll be glad to talk to them about their situation. Our receptionist will get them to the person that they need to talk to. We have counselors. We have our shelter manager that helps with the sheltering of people that may be homeless or may be interested in one of our extended stay program. We have programs for families. We have programs for single women with children. We have programs for single men and women.
Now, obviously, all of these things cost money. A lot of food being disseminated here from the Hidalgo County headquarters for the Salvation Army on North 23rd, Pecan/495 in the city of McAllen. How can those of us who are better off, don't have problems, that need services from you, how can they help the Salvation Army meet its mission, either monetarily or otherwise?
Well, we serve breakfast every morning to the people who stay here. We serve about 60 people lunch every day, about 80 to 100 people supper every night.
Anything you need is money?
They can drop food off. They can send a donation to the Salvation Army.
In the realm of canned goods,
Right.
anything.
Anything. We can't really use a lot of cooked goods that's already cooked because we have to prepare it ourselves by health department rules. But we can receive in-kind donations of food, in cans, boxes, frozen items. We can certainly take everything that we'll get. We get a lot of stuff from Food Bank, which keeps our costs down. We get everything from the Food Bank at 14 cents a pound. So that's a big help to us. So money is
If
really...
someone happens to kill a deer, they really don't want to process and eat that deer or
Well,
turkey?
it needs to be professionally processed. If it's wild game, it needs to be professionally processed. There is a program called Hunters for the Hungry.
And you do participate in that?
And we receive food from there. We'll receive the food from that program as long as the food's processed. Absolutely. People can volunteer. We need people every day, helping, especially during the holiday season when we are doing so much, ringing the bell. We have the angel tree at the mall. We need people to man that angel tree, help people adopt children off the angel tree. And that's a real interesting program because it's a one-on-one opportunity for a family to touch the life of another child. Say you have 2 children. Well, maybe you'd like to provide for one more child. During Christmas, you can go to the La Plaza Mall, take an angel off the angel tree, provide gifts for that child, and we provide food for the family through that holiday gift program. And we need people to stand at the kettles to ring the bell. We ask people if they could come out for 4 hours and ring the bell for us. We'll be glad to schedule them at time at one of the stores all over town, Walmart, the mall. There's a lot of places where we ring the bell. And every person that we have out there that volunteers is one less person that we hire during the holiday season. We get actually to use more of the money because we have volunteers on the kettles. But we never want to really do away with hiring people during the holiday season. It helps them to provide themselves Christmas. It provides them a holiday job that they wouldn't have had otherwise. So we have several, we have probably 20 to 30 people that ring the bell for us that we actually pay at the kettle stands, but it helps them with their own, they wouldn't have a job during the holiday season if it weren't for the bell ringing program.
We're running out of time. Last 30 seconds, look into the camera and tell the audience how they can get involved and what's in it for them.
Well, the greatest way you can get involved is to volunteer your time to help support financially the work of the Salvation Army, because we're touching lives. We're doing the most good. That's our motto, is that we're doing the most good. And that means that everybody that walks through our doors, we're going to do our very best to meet their needs, whether it's a client coming in for services, someone making a donation, whether it's someone that that's homeless or hungry. We're going to do our very best to use your resources, your donations, your gifts to touch the lives of someone in your name.
Happy holidays,
God
Captain
bless
Dan
you.
Ford. Thank you for joining us here on the program. Till next time, adios.